All right, so it is January 3rd, 2025. It's about 5:30 p.m. And yeah, looks like there's not too many people at the range here today. Seems like it should be a little bit more chill. There's quite a bit of snow. Um, and so because of that, it is a little bit dead. It looks like the local hockey team here is playing Yale. Pretty cool. Pretty good teams. And yeah, just gonna get after it today. I think to recap yesterday, after looking at the footage, there's two things I want to do today. Number one is bring the iPad in with me, get some actual like real time video feedback instead of just like going home and trying to figure it out 2 hours later, 3 hours later. So bring the iPad in, check on my swing, and just make small changes as I go. Second thing I want to do is start hitting some more long irons, just because when I'm a little more patient with my swing, especially in the long iron, then I have more time to get my arms moving, and things will just sync up a little bit better. I still am not gonna go to the woods yet, just because I feel like every time I swing a wood, I'm just trying to crush it. Like I swing as hard as I can, and really that's not the ideal thing for me right now. So, yeah, going to start with those two things. Work on some mid irons again today, and really just try to get this swing back. The other thing is that my body is definitely feeling a little bit sore from yesterday. My mid back is, pretty tight. Had some back injuries in the past, but I think if I keep just doing like some proper recovery stuff, namely stretching and foam rolling and massage gun, maybe get a little bit of heat on there, especially from these heated seats, then hopefully it will be okay and it won't stiffen up as much as it did yesterday. But yeah, that's kind of the plan. At least that's how I think today is going to go. I don't know that I'm going to get to do any like short game work today or putting work today. I've got until 7:45 tonight, so I've got about 2 hours if I really want to stick around. Honestly, I could probably spend all night here, but I think the big thing for me is to just get the reps in, start making better swings, and just be consistent with it. It doesn't really matter how long I stay somewhere, as long as I'm getting good quality practice in. And so what that looks like going forward is, I have like a little bit of a practice routine that I usually go through, and I haven't really gotten into that yet at this point in the year. It's only January, but once the season gets closer, then I have like a more proper range warm-up or like a round warm-up. I'm going to get inside because it's 5:40 now. I've just been sitting in my car for 10 minutes. But yeah, let's get after it and enjoy. All right, so actually pretty good range session today. It's Friday. Tomorrow's gonna be crazy at the range, so I probably will either have to get there in the morning or go in like the last hour, 2 hours for it to really calm down. But really good. Yeah, I think to recap, I started with like one of my best swings I've had, and then it all went downhill from there until probably like the last 20 golf balls. I started to figure out what I'm doing and like what wrong feels like, which is probably the most important thing because um, a lot of times you cannot feel what's actually happening. At least I can't feel what's actually happening until I hit the ball. I just kind of know that I'm making a swing and it was either a good takeaway or a bad takeaway, or I stopped at the right point or I didn't stop at the right point. But kind of everything else in between there is really difficult to feel. And so one of my big problems is I tend to fire my right hip really, really hard. And that is left over from ice hockey and all these other things. And it's actually terrible for the swing. It really like, it pushes your hips forward instead of sitting back. Whenever that happens, your arms will start to get a little bit over top because you're moving forward, and then you're coming across the ball, and it's just really, really terrible. So I figured that out probably at the beginning of the session is when I knew I was doing it, but then I started to be able to control it towards 3/4 of the way through. So yeah, I do just have to slow down in general, and this is the same thing I said yesterday, same thing I said the day before. Um, I just need to work on being more patient, and I'm pretty terrible at that. So a few of the shots at the end were really good. I was really patient with it. I didn't throw my arms at it. I did start my arms sooner, but I didn't throw them quite as much, and I wasn't coming across the ball quite as much. I actually had a couple that went like dead straight, which I was really proud of. And that's really hard to do, especially when you have taken so much time off. So I'm gonna go home, eat some food, stretch, and finish cleaning my room and just get ready for the next day, get ready for the next week, next semester, all of the above. So that is the game plan for the night, though. So I'll probably throw in some stretching footage just for funsies. All right, so this is like a typical stretching routine I'll go through either nightly or before I go golf or whatever. Also, some foam rolling, some lacrosse ball work, and then I'll introduce you to this guy later. But yeah, this is just like a typical daily stretch. Nothing too complicated. Honestly, it's just the basics, and just enough to keep me not feeling like a train wreck every day. All right, so starting off with some hamstrings, I'm so tight. I'm I'm so tight. I'm I'm like 6'6", and so I just have trouble with everything with my hamstrings and my hips and all of that stuff. Partly just because I'm getting old and I sit around a lot, and the other thing is just I'm not as active as I used to be, where I was stretching and working out and lifting all the time. And so things have really tightened up the last 5 years, especially with injuries. And yeah, just I try to start with hamstrings every day. I try to get my pelvis all the way to the wall so that I'm 90 degrees. And then honestly, I just sit there, and that's kind of enough for me right now. But I'll get a little more going here soon. So starting to feel a little looser, so I put back up a little bit more. And yeah, I can really, really feel it. Oh my gosh. A lot of times I have to do that twice. So moving on, another hamstring one, but honestly, I just need a little bit of a push on this. And so I kind of push my elbow into the wall and try to just get a little bit further one leg at a time. It's not nearly as painful. I'm going to go one more time here. I might do it once more at the end too. On this next one, a little bit more of like a groin stretch, you could say. I get super tight in there too. So hamstrings, groin, everything, including my hips, are all super, super tight down. So I like to do both legs. I like to start on my knee, extend out, and then sink back into it and really feel the groin stretch. To keep your foot flat, if you do that, it's not as good of a stretch. Hip stretch. I don't have a lot of space in my hips, and or I'm really tight, probably both. And so I put my knee out to an angle quite a bit on these, but yeah, this is the pigeon or the half pigeon, something like that. And really I'm just trying to get my glutes to release and get these hips a little more mobile. Yeah, it's a tough one. It hurts. So that's pretty much lower body complete. Now we're moving on to what I call the meat tenderizer. It's basically just a foam roller that's got little spikes on it. Really helps to break up knots and all that good stuff. But start with this, move on to the regular foam roller, and a little bit of upper body and thoracic spine work. So good. Regular foam roller. Oh. One of the last ones is these thoracic rotations where you start on all four and try to keep your hips as level as possible, and then you take one arm, extend it out to the side and all the way behind you. And so I'll do 8 to 10 of those per side. I have a lot of trouble with the right side, but okay, then like the last 2 stretches I'll do are all upper body, so I will, put my hand against the wall, try to stretch out the chest. I'll do that on both sides, and then the last one that I do is I'll just go and do like a dead hang from a pull-up bar and just try to decompress as much as I can and just really open everything up. Okay, I'll show you the last 2 things I'll use. Typically there's this lacrosse ball that will really kind of like get into any trigger points that I've got, and it's just a little bit of extra work. It's a little painful, but it gets the job done. And then I've also got this like peanut roller, which is about the size of like 2 softballs. And I mean, you can use it on any body part, but I find it's most helpful for the back. Like you can really get your spine like right in the middle, and then all those muscles on either side, and it just helps to loosen things up. It's also got vibration, which helps intercept the pain signals, and so that is probably the best investment that I've made since having some back injuries. This was probably like 2019, 2020. I think I actually received it as a gift, but I got another one, and yeah, can't recommend that thing enough, especially when you're sore and you're not getting any younger. So that's kind of it for the stretching and the daily maintenance, but thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to go edit this video. Bye.